सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतं तं नमामि पतञ्जलिम्.
Namaste. Dear audience, we are here to bring to you a topic of great interest in India as well as in the Western world. The topic whose name is quite familiar, but the concept behind it may not be so familiar. The name of the topic is Patanjali Yoga Sutras, or as the original name is Patanjali Yoga Darshanam, written by Maharshi Patanjali about 2300 years back. Many of you must be following the Facebook page of Mr. Subhash Phadke, who along with me has been writing Yoga Sutra articles on his Facebook page. Based on the reactions, we thought that maybe the audio-visual medium will have a wider reach, and also it will be easier for the audience to understand the topic. So that's why we undertook this venture. Let me also tell you that both Subhash and myself, we are students of Yoga Darshana. We are not experts, we are not authority. It is just that we have started learning this topic a little earlier than you. So at this moment, we may be knowing more than you. Further, we have taken advantage of the fact that we know a little bit of Sanskrit. All ancient Indian literature is in Sanskrit, and since Sanskrit is not known by many, there is a mystic aura about all the ancient Indian literature. We know a little bit, so we find it a little easier to understand. Though let me tell you, the topic is not so easy to understand. When the name yoga is uttered, what comes to mind is Yogasanas, Ashtanga Yoga, Kriya Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga, all these names come to the mind. Let me tell you, Yoga Darshana is not Hatha Yoga, and it is much beyond Kriya Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga and Yogasanas. These are mere parts of the Yoga Darshana. You can say that Yoga Sutras describe Raja Yoga. So what is there? What is it actually, the Yoga Darshan? Well, you can say it's a treatise on the functioning of the mind, how the mind functions, analysis of the functioning of the mind, and it's a treatise describing the path to Samadhi, a state of eternal, lasting happiness and bliss. That's what Yoga Sutra is. And what is Yoga Darshana? Okay, we come to that. Yoga Sutra is written or authored by Maharshi Patanjali, who was a prolific writer. There is also another authorship in his name. He has written Mahabhashya on Panini's treatise on grammar, Ashtadhyay. Ashtadhyay is Panini's work. Patanjali has written a Mahabhashya on that. That's a famous book. Patanjal Tantra is his book on medical science. That's also quite famous. But his most famous is, of course, Patanjali Yoga Darshanam, written about 2300 years back. So, Patanjali Yoga Darshanam. What is Yoga Darshanam? Well, yoga, the literal meaning is joining. So, what joining is it talking about? It is talking about joining of your assumed self with the real self. Your apparent self with the real self. Your apparent self is your mind-body complex which moves about in this world, to which we all call as I. That's our assumed or apparent self. What is the real self? The real self is that everlasting, unchangeable principle called Atma. And that's the real self. And that's the only principle. So when you join these together, the assumed self merges into the real self. That's yoga. And what is darshana? Well, darshana again, literal meaning is seeing. But the implied meaning is knowing. How? Seeing gives you a sense of knowing. Seeing gives you a sense of knowing. Amongst all the five sense organs, it is the seeing which gives you confidence that you know the subject. So that's why darshana implies knowing. And let me tell you, all Indian philosophies are known by the name of darshana. Right? There are 6 Indian philosophies, the Astika philosophies. Astic philosophy is the one which accepts validity of the Vedas. There are 6 of them, the basic philosophies, that is, these are the 6 ones. Nyaya Darshan, then Vaisheshika Darshan, Sankhya Darshan, Yoga Darshan, Purva Mimamsa, and Uttar Mimamsa or Vedanta. I have given the names of the authors and the name of the text as well in this slide for you to refer to. Okay, so that is Yoga Darshana. Now each of these 6 darshanas describe reality. They talk about metaphysics and epistemology. They talk about reality, what is the creation is about, how did everything got created, where will it end, what is you, your real self, your real identity, and the process of obtaining knowledge. You can say knowing, the process of knowing, epistemology. That's what these darshanas describe. There are 3 other Indian philosophies which are Nastika philosophies. They don't accept the validity of the Vedas, the Jain philosophy, the Bauddha philosophy, and the Charvak philosophy. But let me tell you, all these philosophies are based on intense application of logic. Their postulates and hypotheses are founded on very solid logic. They try to convince very well, and they are not merely talking about God. Some of them don't accept God. Some of them don't talk about God. Well, Yoga Darshana is based on the philosophy Sankhya Darshana written by Kapil Muni. So let's come to Yoga Darshana. What's there in the Yoga Darshana we have already seen. This Yoga Darshana text is Yoga Sutras written by Patanjali. Now, why these sutras? A sutra is a thread. Literal meaning of sutra is a thread. So what it actually tries to connote is that on one single thread we have all the aspects of a subject. And the meaning of sutras therefore becomes aphorisms or short abridged sentences describing all the aspects, very powerful in meaning. And if you see all the darshanas, the texts are named as sutras. Why so? Why sutras? Because sutras is an abridged version. It makes it short. Why it is needed? Well, in those days, 2,000-3,000 years back, there was no writing, no printing. The only way to transmit the knowledge was through spoken word, oral tradition. And the only way to store the knowledge was in memory. So therefore it was appropriate that you don't tax your memory so much by large data. So therefore a need was felt to reduce the length of the matter so that memorizing is easy, but at the same time all the meaning is captured. That's the importance of sutra. And therefore there were rules about sutras too. A sutra was described as alpaksharam, asandigdham, saravat, vishvato mukham, astobham, avadyam. These were the 6 characteristics or criteria of a sutra, and respectively each word means. Sutra is Swalpaksharam is having minimum words, then unambiguous, then having the essence and summary, and then Vishvato Mukham is universally valid. Astobham means that which can be uttered in one breath, so short, and Avadyam is flawless. So there was a whole science of how to make sutras because they were so important. So that's how the Yoga Sutras came. Now, what is there in the Yoga Sutras? In short, they describe the path to attain Samadhi. Samadhi is that state where there is only bliss, there is no unhappiness. And Therefore, you can say the Yoga Sutras describe the way to happiness through samadhi. And these Yoga Sutras are divided into 4 parts by Maharishi Patanjali. They are called 4 padas. The Samadhi pad is the first part, which defines what samadhi is. Samadhi is our goal, so it describes the goal, gives a conceptual clarity. Then comes sadhana path, which describes the way to reach samadhi, how to attain samadhi, the path to samadhi. Third is vibhuti path, which describes the various supernatural powers that one may experience on the way to samadhi. Supernatural powers do come. A very small example is a blind man has got his ears, a sense, his audio sense is much sharper than ours. Why? Because his entire mind is concentrated in that, it's not divided. Second, he uses that sense quite a lot. So this is one example of how a supernatural power comes by concentration. So a yogi obtains these in all senses and beyond. And in the last is the Kaivalya Pad. Kaivalya means separateness, aloneness, loneliness, and that's a state called emancipation. It's difficult to give a concept or meaning of Kaivalya Pad right now because a lot of other things will have to be known, so we'll talk about it later. Having said this, now let us come to the fact, why should Yoga Sutras be studied? Well, I can count 5 reasons why Yoga Sutras should be studied. The first and foremost is, of course, the original reason that the life which is full of cycles of happiness and unhappiness, remove the unhappiness. The first sutra of Sankhya Yoga also tells the same, remove unhappiness. So it's about that is attains the state of samadhi and remove your unhappiness permanently. The second aim could be to learn the art of meditation, because meditation takes you on the path to samadhi. You may not reach the samadhi, but still the art of meditation and meditation gives you something. The third one is knowing your mind and knowing the power of concentration. That can be one more aim. The fourth aim, as I was saying a little earlier, calming your mind progressively. See, as you traverse the path to so as to attain samadhi, or the path prescribed by Maharishi Patanjali, progressively you will realize the fruits of that. Your mind will become calmer and calmer. You will start experiencing a different kind of happiness or peace. If you want to have that, go for Yoga Sutra studies. The fifth one is pure plain curiosity. Many studies start in pure plain curiosity but end up in something much more, much deeper, much higher, and the same can result in this also. In fact, our purpose in bringing this to you is one such thing of some of you taking it up out of curiosity but reaching much higher, much farther than us and spreading it better. So that brings us, who all should study Yoga Sutras? Those who are pure plain curious. Second, those people who are consciously, acutely aware of the state of happiness and unhappiness. There is a distinction very sharp in their mind and they want to remove the unhappiness. They should take to the path of Yoga Sutras and try and reach the state of samadhi and remove unhappiness permanently. There is another way also. That means there are other type people. What should they do? The other type is those people who do not feel the happiness, unhappiness so acutely. The pain doesn't dwell in their mind so sharply. They are generally happy. However, they should also study. Why? Because it will make them experience a different kind of happiness. The progressive calming of the mind is a different experience. And they should do it for this. In the next one, we will go into the basis of Yoga Sutras. Till then, happy learning and thank you.